of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
A warm, sunny afternoon with a herd of elephant approaching us. And this is Safari Live. Ready.
Standing by.
Five, four, three, two, one. You are live, you are live.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Safari Live. My name is Byron, and on camera with me this afternoon is Craig. Now, we've also got Tara and Senzo on the other vehicle, and Alice and Chantal in final control. Now, don't forget, everyone, we are completely live. Send us your questions and your comments. Hashtag Safari Live via Twitter is how you do it. Now, let me just reposition. We've got this herd of elephant that have just moved past us. I'm going to get us into a better position quickly, because they've just walked behind us. I'm not sure how many elephant are around here, but there are actually quite a few. That, from what I can tell, a number of them have moved through the thicket off to our right, and we also have at least 3. There's another one through there. 4, 5. I think it's quite a large herd. They seem to be moving fairly quickly. There we go. That's a nice view of them. You can just see there. You can see a few more dotted around. Now, as I said, it's a lovely warm afternoon, 24 degrees Celsius, or about 74 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a beautiful afternoon. And look at the little one. There it goes, following the mother. These are my favorites, as all of you know. I really enjoy elephants and I love spending time with them. I'm hoping that these elephants hang around in this area or go out into the clearing. I may drive around. There's a road on the other side, and possibly we may just get them coming out on the other side, and we can and hopefully spend some time with them. See them flapping their ears. Now, the elephants do that because well, especially when it's warm, they flap their ears to help cool the body down or regulate body temperature. So if you look closely, you might actually see a lot of those veins in the ears. Now, those big ears are filled with veins and capillaries, and they carry a lot of blood. So by flapping their ears, they cool that blood down somewhat. And it takes about between 7 and 9 minutes for that blood to circulate through the body. So by flapping their ears, they cool the blood down, and then that helps cool the body temperature. Not by much, but it does help regulate the body temperature and keep them cool. Now, 24 degrees isn't very hot, but it's warm enough, and especially being out in the sun, these elephants are most likely quite warm. There's a cool breeze, slightly cool breeze. So by flapping their ears, it's perfect to keep their body temperature down. Isn't that wonderful? Liz, you said elephants again? Yes, exactly. So happy and so excited to start the show with some elephant. What a wonderful surprise. We had a bit of a quiet morning. Tara did find lions. I found absolutely nothing bar a few warthog, but that's how it goes sometimes. So nice to start with the elephant. But speaking of Tara, let's go across to her now so she can say good morning to you. Good afternoon to you, actually.
Hi everybody, and welcome on board this afternoon. It's wonderful to be here guiding you guys. My name's Tara, and joining me on camera this afternoon is Senzo. Awesome. Now, you guys missed quite an epic sighting of lions this morning, but before I go into that, there's actually a Nyala bull who's just walking away, so hopefully we'll actually see him coming out of the bush. But where were you this morning? It was so funny. Is he gonna? No, he's walking away. Let me just see if I can pull back a little bit and see if we can get him into shot before he walks off into the bush at the back there. There he goes. He's just been standing quietly in Chelapan. But of course, as soon as we're live, he walks away. It's amazing. The animals seem to know. Beautiful Nyala bull disappearing through the bush. So yes, we had quite a hilarious sighting. I think it's going down in the history of hilarious sightings, and I'm definitely going to be dining out on this one. So if you missed it this morning, please go onto YouTube. I'm sure there must be a video up by now. Where we're sat there with the lions, who are flat out. They must be well into a deep sleep, and literally, as I'm just explaining, that the bush can just come to life and you just don't know what's going to happen next, and that's what the beauty of being live is all about. And literally, a mouse ran straight out of the bush and into the sleeping lioness, who jumped a mile, and the look on her face was, what on earth just happened? Needless to say, the mouse backtracked pretty quickly, so that disappeared into the bush. So she looked at us thinking that we'd woken her up, but it was absolutely hysterical, and the rest of the pride were like, well, what's just happened? Why have you got up? So yes, very, very funny, so you really have to go and check that out. So we're at Chelapan now. We're going to head over towards Buffalo's Hook Dam and see if there's anything around, and then maybe later on we'll actually try and catch up with those lions try and catch up with those lions again once it cools off a little bit, because they did go into the thick bush. But welcome on board, Tony, and Tony wanting to know if the Mighty Mouse is going to make an appearance. Do you know what? I think that's going to be the stuff of nightmares for that lioness now, I tell you. Oh, it was just quality. I've told everybody, all my old guiding friends, that they have to check it out. It's one in a million chances of that happening. Absolutely amazing. Let's say I'm definitely going to be dining out on that one. Mighty Mouse. And I think actually Taylor just coined it this morning. He said, what was it, a mouse initiation? Pounce on a lion? Oh, I tell you something, Taylor's got a wicked sense of humour. Absolutely love it. So we're going to head towards Spaghetti Junction. I haven't been through there since we've got back, so we'll see if there's anything around there. But it's nice to hear that Byron has had some elephants for you this afternoon. So I'm hoping we might have a few more animals for you. But the drive this morning was absolutely lovely. We did a few who dung its and a who sung its. So I'm hoping we can have a bit of a reprise of that for you guys this afternoon. And remember, for those of you who are just joining us, and maybe this is your first live safari and you don't believe it's live here in the African bush, then do send your questions through to #SafariLive and say hello. It'd be great to hear from you this afternoon and join in the wonder that is Djuma Game Reserve here in the Sabi Sands. I'm so excited. I wonder what is going to pop out. Hi Stanley, yeah, and good afternoon to you, welcome on board. Stanley wanting to know, would the bush have looked different a million years ago? Yes, very much so. It would definitely have looked a lot different. It could have been wider riverbeds, it could have been thicker bush, different species of plant. It's certainly very different looking, I am sure. And a million years ago, there would still have been the same mountain formations. So obviously that takes a lot longer for the mountains to form. So we're on Vulture's Nest, and I'm quite keen to see if the Vulture's Nest is active, because that used to be used every year. So I'm just trying to remember which tree it is. think it was that tree there. Hi James, welcome on board. And you're just asking about if the lions are getting enough to eat without the buffalo being around. And speaking of buffalo, there's something down here that's saying someone might be around. If I move out the way. So this is your who dung it. You might be sharp enough to pick it up. It's a little bit like a segmented orange. Just a bit of a giveaway there. And if I actually jump out and grab a piece, we can break it open so you can have a look inside. There we go. I think actually I'm in the wrong position for the sun, aren't I? If I try and put a bit of shadow on that, that might be better for you. Is that working? So hopefully you can see it's quite fine inside. So not like the hindgut fermenters that we were looking at this morning. So that hopefully will give you a clue. So if you want to join in, see if you're the first to ID it. Hashtag Safari Live, who dung it. But yes, so do the lions actually have enough to eat? Well, James, lions don't just eat buffalo, they do eat other species as well. It's just that they go for the large animals like the buffalo because there's quite a number of mouths to feed. And that's one of the reasons why they kind of changed tactics from the other cat side, so they could actually feed on the larger game. Now, interestingly enough, tigers over in India, especially in the Ranthambone Park, they've adapted slightly as well, because tigers are actually solitary cats generally, but they've started seeing them cooperate to pull down the buffalo, the water buffalo over there. So remember, this side we have African buffalo, not the water buffalo. There's usually a bit of a mix up there. So they've changed tack slightly because there's not as much food available for them. Now here in the Sabi Sands and the Great Kruger National Park, which is what this reserve is part of, there is plenty of game. So there's kudus, there's impala, which the lions will also eat. But as I say, there's not as much food on the impala, so they're going to have to hunt again if they do catch an impala, especially for the Nkahuma pride. But lions will often follow where the buffalo have gone. In Chobe National Park up in Botswana, the lions there have actually adapted to eating elephant, which is not something you really hear of the lions doing down here. And again, because the smaller game, there's not as much of it, so they've adapted their diet to actually hunting something that's potentially a lot more lethal, but something that they can still get a lot of food from. And the prides up there in Chobe can reach about 30 animals strong, whereas the prides down here, you don't really hear of them getting anywhere near those numbers. But there we go. So if you're new to the safaris, these are the impala I've just mentioned, so quite small. There's a medium-sized antelope, but quite a lot smaller than the 1-ton buffalo that will feed the lion and keep them full for a good week or so. Especially if it was the Nkahuma pride that we saw this morning. So the impala, keep them full for maybe a couple of days, if one impala for a lion kind of thing. So it kind of averages out to about 7 kilos of food a day, but they won't eat 7 kilos of food. It will be all in one sitting. Then it'll be digested over a number of days. So this looks like a bachelor group. Plenty of different aged males. There's quite an old male there. And then you can see there's a young male just crossing in front of him. So if you look at the length of the horns on the Impala. So that looks like a yearling. Actually, that one's probably a little bit older, maybe 2 years. There's a yearling with slightly shorter horns behind him. Just crossing behind. But considering it's winter, they're actually looking in really good condition. I'm quite amazed. But Impala can eat a variety of food. They can eat the leaves as well as the grass, whereas other antelope will go for one or the other. Now, watching this, you may find that a bit unusual. You might be thinking surely males should be fighting each other. Well, not this time of year. Towards September, they will start holding territory and rutting, which is the shorter rut for the females that have been missed the first time round in March and April. But this time of year is actually better to band together and have a lot of eyes and ears looking out for predators, because there's no need to fight each other, because it's not the breeding season. Very nice. Oh, and here come females. Hello, ladies. Keep up. Oh, did you hear that grunt? One of the males. Shame, they look so pretty, but they have such a an ugly voice. Alrighty. So, do we have any answers to our whodunit? I wonder. Oh, sorry. Apparently I've popped out. There we go, I'm back in. Sorry about that, I must have pulled it. Sorry, can you repeat that last bit? Marvin. How crazy was that squirrel? Standing his ground. That's what it's all about in the bush. You stand your ground, it confuses the predators. Richard, lions. No, it wasn't lions, and the big giveaway is that I picked it up. So you never pick up carnivore dung, because there's lots of bacteria and can make you very sick. So that's a very big giveaway. Sharon, snazzy, saying elephant. Not quite, I'm afraid, ladies. Nice try. For elephant, you're looking for more of a brown, reddish colour and very large pieces of bark and things like that. So there's not really much in there. Oh, I missed the first name, but Enid. Aaron and Enid, well done. It is buffalo. Speaking of the animal that's been MIA apparently, I think Byron was also saying he hasn't seen them for a little while. So this is actually, it's quite hard on the outside, but soft on the inside. Sounds like a chocolate bar, doesn't it? But yeah, quite soft on the inside, which tends to suggest it was from today. It's baked in the sun for a little bit, so it's, yeah, about that far down it's been baked, but the rest is quite moist. But it hasn't been overly hot today. I think they said it was about 25 degrees now, so it's possibly a little bit older than what it would be during the summer, so maybe 3 or 4 hours old, something like that, maybe a little bit more. So we've got to see if we can find ourselves the buffalo. Now there's only one bit, there was only one set of tracks. And it looks like it's going to be belonging to an old Duggar boy, an old male. So we're going to keep looking for him. It sounds like Byron's lost the elephant. Believe it or not, it's actually quite easy to lose elephants in the bush, but we're going to see if he can catch up with them or find you something in the meantime. Enjoy.
Well, unfortunately, we did lose those elephants. Well, we didn't lose them. They moved into a thicket, and I was hoping they'd come out on the other side, but they didn't. They ended up staying in there feeding, so we might catch up with them a little bit later. But I thought, let's carry on and see what else we can find. Maybe check some of the dams. It's been warm and dry, so possibly we might have a chance of finding some animals going down to drink. Tara's been playing that Who Dung It game a few times, and that's quite fun and entertaining if you can guess the dung and which animal it comes from. Something different. And it is actually important to know all of that, because if you're walking, for example, and you see fresh dung, it is important to know what animal it comes from in case you bump into them. If you, for example, if it's predator dung or not, or if it's buffalo or rhino or elephant, you need to know the difference. You need to know what to expect. So all of those signs are crucial for doing bushwalks, or even when you're driving around. Help you track any sign that you can find in the wild of animals being around is very crucial. You asked, how do you tell the difference between a carnivore and a herbivore's dung? Well, for me, with herbivores, and I've got some dung up here, let's have a look at it. Let me jump off quickly. So for me, with herbivores, with the ruminants, so all those animals that have a four-chambered stomach, they ruminate. It means their digestive system is very efficient. They feed on food, on plant material, and they swallow, and it goes into the first chamber of the stomach. It gets mixed with enzymes and digestive juices. They then regurgitate that food, rechew it, and swallow again. So it's a very efficient digestive system. And most of all the ruminants, their dung is very, very fine, very dark. They've basically taken all the nutrients out of their food. Now, other herbivores, like, let's look at this elephant dung. Now, this is old, dry elephant dung. But let me show you over here. Is that all right, Craig? There we go. Now, if you look, the elephant don't have a very efficient digestive system, and you can actually see twigs and branches and I suppose there's a lot of grass in this piece of dung. You might also find bark in here, so that's a sign obviously that it's a herbivore. So you can tell rhino, buffalo too. Buffalo dung's very fine though, because they are herbivores, ruminants, but rhino and elephant, you can find you've got a lot of plant material in it, so you'll see that it's a herbivore very easily. Now, predator dung is often a lot darker, and then it looks like that of a pet, like a dog or a cat, and it's often elongated, and they actually pinch off the last bit of the dung, and you'll see that very clearly. But actually, let me show you. I wonder if in my tracking book, if we don't have any sign of dung over here, so I can show you what some of the carnivore dung looks like. The carnivore dung will also have a very strong smell. It won't smell as, I wouldn't say clean or fresh like the herbivore dung, but herbivore dung is a grassy smell to it, whereas the carnivore dung is a very almost a putrid smell, a stench to it. So let me see if I can look here quickly. What if they've got any dung in here? They do. Yeah, here we go. Well, have a look at that. This is a great example. How's that? Opening the page on the right, opening the book on the right page. There we go. Wild dog dung. Can you see that? Very dark, and you can see very different to any herbivore dung. Not round pellets or anything like a ruminant would have, or buffalo. And you can see the pinched off tip of the dung. Now with dogs and cats, you'll see that quite clearly, and the hyena. But you can just see the difference in the dung. Let me just see. Sorry, Craig. Let me see if there's. There we go. Well, this, for example, a little African wildcat. You can also see the dung. A lot of it is linked together like this, so that dung will look very different compared to that of a herbivore. And I know Tara's been showing you some different dung of herbivores. Let me see. Also, the thing is, you need to be very careful if you're out. You never pick up any dung, especially that of, well, if it's herbivores, elephant, or any of the antelope species, there's nothing to worry about. There's very little to no bacteria on there. It's clean. It's just grass and plant material. But that of a carnivore contains a lot of bacteria, so you must never touch it. All right. So that is something that you must watch out for. Let me just see. Here we go. Now, look at the Impala pellets. Do you see that? So do you see that? Those pellets, those are Impala pellets. You can see how different and how dark the pellets can get because of them being ruminants and that very efficient digestive system, getting all the nutrients out there. Now, Stacey, you asked if with that dung being old and dry, is there less bacteria and that in there? So, Stacey, as I was saying, with the plant material and that, you don't have to worry. You can actually take fresh elephant dung. You can pick it up, you can touch it. It's basically just plant material that's passed straight through the elephant. I think Steph has done it before too, where a survival tactic, if you are lost in the bush and you don't have water or anything, if you find fresh elephant dung, you can squeeze it and you get moisture out of it. And if you need, or if you're desperate for water, you can drink that moisture out of the elephant dung. Doesn't sound very good, and it probably doesn't taste great, but you can do it. And I know Steph tried it. I think he poured water through the elephant dung and he squeezed it down and he drank some of it. And Steph's still alive, so it can't be that bad. But that you can do, but again, only if it's a last resort. But as I was saying, don't touch predator dung or any dung that's been any predators or cats or hyena or anything like that. A lot of bacteria. I hope that answers your question about the difference. David, you know, the importance of dung, I think it does fertilize the ground to an extent, but I would say the dung is more important for insects. Insects feed on the dung, especially we know the dung beetles in summer. So it's actually more a case of it providing food for other creatures than anything else. Not necessarily a fertilizer out here. Yes, I'm sure the elephant dung and the buffalo dung and that would act as a form of fertilizer, but you know, it's not really needed out here. The plant material and the grasses that we have get their nutrients that they need from the soil and obviously from the water and the rain that we get. They don't need fertilizer, not out here. So that I suppose the feces or dung of animals doesn't necessarily always act as fertilizer. It's not needed, but more so as food for other insects. Alright, so I'm going to make my way towards one or two water holes. While I do that, let's head over back to Tara, see where she is, what her plan is. I hear she's bumbling around.
Yes, I am bumbling around. That is so true. So I think Byron's covered about the carnivore and the herbivore dung differences. So I'm still heading up towards Buffalo's Hook Dam, but I'm taking a slight detour because we just found some elephant tracks coming up central, and it looks like they cut down, which was quite odd. I thought they were going to cut up towards Buffalo's Hook, but it could be that they just milled around in there a little bit. So I just thought we might have a look around just in case they did carry on in the bush there. I say the buffalo, that dung was quite, well, relatively old for today. So no fresh tracks from there. And unfortunately there's no little pans that the buffalo might be sitting in, because they do like to wallow in mud. Even on a day like this you might find them if it's warm enough, although they don't tend to do it as much in the winter because it's not too hot. So they tend to put the mud on to protect their skin and to help keep them cool. Oh yes, Liz, can't wait for the large herds of buffalo to return. That is something quite spectacular, it really is. And when my family were here on my farewell drive, we actually went up to one of the water holes just in Buffles. Can't think of the name now, so Buffles. Buffles Hook. No, the land over the way. I think it's Buffles Hook, isn't it? And okay, our Ellies crossed out here. They went that way. And we actually had a beautiful sighting of, I think it must have been about a 400 strong buffalo herd, maybe not as many of that, maybe 200, but it was certainly a huge herd. Oh, and they came onto the road here, okay. And they all ran towards the water, and it was just such an amazing sight to see. So we're going to keep following these elephant tracks. There's some giraffe tracks going in there as well, so we're going to do a loop around because it looks like they have crossed through there. So we're going to do a loop around onto Cheetah Cut Line while Byron's actually found a vulture, I believe.
Now we've got a vulture sitting on the nest, and excuse me a second, negative, not yet. I'm not sure if anyone's heading in that area, Mike. I think Tara might go and try follow up around there. Now these vultures have been around this nest for quite some. Oh, there's a chick. There we go. Do you see the little head? Wow, fantastic. Did you see that little head pop up and down there? I was saying we're not sure if they've got chicks. I think this is the first time the chicks have been spotted. Hang on, let's see if we see it again. That is very exciting. We weren't sure if they had the chicks yet, but there was definitely a little head bobbing up and down out of that nest. Let's see. Oh, that's very exciting. Now these vultures have been using the nest for quite some time. We weren't sure if they had eggs or laid eggs yet, but they clearly have, and the eggs have hatched. There we go. Do you see that? Wonderful. Vulture chicks, everyone. Oh, that is very special. These are white-backed vultures. Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm not sure how many there are. But let's see. I'm not sure if we'll be able to see another one the way that that vulture is sitting. Deborah, armchair traveller. Wow, that's a tongue twister. You say you're happy to see these little vulture chicks. Isn't that cute? That is very exciting. Now this nest is just off Philemon's cut line, and I'm sure Tyra will come and have a look and see it at some point too. I want to see if I can find anything regarding how many eggs they lay or how many survive, because sometimes with birds of prey they may lay 2 or 3 eggs and only 1 or 2 survive. So let's have a look. Let me just see. Now, Brianna, you asked, why do vultures have feathers on their heads? Well, Brianna, all birds have feathers on their heads. Oh, why don't they? Oh, sorry, Brianna. You asked why don't they have feathers on their heads. They do have a little bit. If you look at some of the vultures, they do have some, but often around the neck and part of their head is quite bare. But you need to remember also the vultures use those long necks to stick into carcasses. So that, I think it's probably the main reason is because those heads go in and out of carcasses a lot, but they do have some feathers on the neck and part of the head, but the faces are a bit bare and open. I would assume it's got something to do with that, but I don't know for sure, Brianna. I don't know for sure. Now, as I was saying, that the eggs, so they lay, it's usually one egg that they lay and raise the chick, sometimes two, quite rarely two. So that's interesting. So these adult vultures then put all the effort into raising that chick, and an incubation period of about 56 days. So that's interesting, about 56 days. So now, Kestrel Fox, I'm not sure if I think the breeding is year-round, if I'm not mistaken. Let's double-check, see if I can find something. Okay, so they lay, apparently they'll lay eggs, these whiteback vultures will lay eggs maybe around April, May, June, July, they can lay eggs. So yeah, going into winter. So these vultures have been sitting here for quite some time. They've used this nest for a long time, actually. So that makes sense then, and especially if the incubation period is about 56 days. So almost 2 months. And David, you say the nest looks exposed and must get cold at night. Most of these birds of prey, the larger birds of prey, they need these exposed nests. And the reason for that is it's not easy for them to land in trees that are thick and covered in foliage. The big wingspan will hinder them. So that's actually a perfect spot for the vultures. There's that little head again. Isn't that wonderful? But I don't think it's that cold, and these birds obviously have thick feathers to keep them warm. And that vulture will most likely keep that chick warm too. Well, that is a wonderful surprise. I'm glad we decided to stop here to have a look. Now, I'm listening to the radio, and I heard there were some guests that arrived in recently into this area, but this afternoon sometime, not too long ago. And apparently on their way in, they bumped into a leopard on the road. So I am hoping that the guide will come out and give us an update, and we'll see more or less where that leopard was found, and hopefully we get a view. I'm not sure if it was just crossing the road or if it was actually lying down somewhere. And hopefully it crossed onto our side. I don't know. Well, I'm going to listen to the radio and see if I can get a better update, find out exactly what happened. I'm just listening. So I wonder, I think it was around maybe Twin Dams area. Hold on a second. This is Andrew. Now, Andrew was the one whose guests arrived, and they saw the leopard. Oh, I don't know. Just listening now, that wasn't clear. Let me just try find out if I can hear exactly. Mike for Byron. Mike, sorry, I missed the beginning of that conversation. Confirm where exactly was that animal spotted? Copy, thanks. Andrew, do you copy, Andrew? Andrew, do you have any updates on where that animal was spotted? Okay, copy. We'll go have a look down there anyway. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you. Yeah. So the problem is, it's a bit difficult because it was done by a road transfer, so they don't know the area. They just said it was in the area along the main road somewhere. So it's hard to say, but we'll try find out and see if we can have a look. Maybe we have a sign of. Go ahead, Tara, go ahead. Yeah, FM, I'm in that vicinity already. I'm approaching Treehouse Dam. Okay, copy. Alright, turn that radio down a little bit. Gets a bit confusing at times. I sometimes wonder if the other guides are asking me questions or not. Let's go have a look at Treehouse Dam. Not too far from there. Warm afternoon, who knows? Maybe there is a leopard lying close by and went down to drink. Wouldn't that be great? Keep scanning and checking the trees. Now, Ellie, you asked if baby vultures have any predators to watch out for. So, Ellie, I'm not sure. Oh, there's a little dwarf mongoose. Little dwarf mongoose disappearing into the thicket. And long grass, we won't see them now. They'll hide away from us. Ellie, I don't know, possibly snakes up in the tree, possibly other birds of prey. Now, you mentioned or you asked if leopards would potentially be a threat. Now, normally I would say no, it's unlikely because those nests are so high up in trees. However, I've seen leopards go up into a tree and raid a fish eagle nest before. They try and get to the chicks. So I wouldn't say that's a definite no, that leopards wouldn't raid a vulture nest. Possibly. But that one where that nest was, I think it's highly unlikely. Right in the thin branches, up in the top of that tree, probably not. But other birds of prey and most likely snakes or anything up in the tree, I would assume that those are the only predators that they need to watch out for. But I think with that adult vulture around, they probably wouldn't take a predator coming in and getting too close to the nest. I'm sure that vulture would protect it. Let's have a look. Have we seen anything here yet? Oh, Riti, you say a leopard up a tree would be great. It would be indeed. for the moment, I'll just settle for a leopard in the grass even. We'll see, maybe we get some luck and find a leopard wandering around. Batman, keep your eyes open. David, you asked how many subspecies of leopard have I seen. I've only ever seen the African leopard, or the leopard that we see here. I've never seen those rare melanistic leopards like the black leopards or that strawberry leopard that Tara was speaking about. I've never seen any other leopards. I've only seen the leopard that we get or the normal leopard that we get here. I haven't seen any color variation or any subspecies. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we'll ask Tara, but I believe that the leopards that have the color variation, they're not a subspecies. It's the same species. It's just a genetic variation that changes the color, and it's often a recessive gene that comes through from time to time. Just like within the the lions, you get the white lions that have been known to be found in the Timbavati. It's just a recessive gene which comes through. Same with the king cheetah with those beautiful, almost like black stripes around the body, or blotches, not really spots. Tara apparently just agrees with me. That is correct. So it's not a subspecies, it's just a genetic variation. We need to check this area very carefully, just in case any leopards came wandering through here. You see something there, Craig? There are indeed leopard tracks along here. Hold on a second. Let me jump out here. Did you spot them, Craig? Craig says he did. Thank you, Craig. Now there are leopard tracks around here. Let me see if I can find a clear one for you. These do look clear and fairly fresh. Now, Craig, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll double check over there, but here is a track over there. Can you see that, Craig? Is that okay? More or less. There's the pad and the 4 toes going this way. Now this actually looks like a young male. Now I'm not 100% certain, but I would guess this is possibly Hosana that's moved through the area. But don't take my word for it, I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, I never like to just try guess the name of a leopard judging by the tracks, because I've seen people often get that wrong. Now, I just want to have a look here. These tracks are very fresh. I'll tell you why. A number of bird tracks on the road, and these tracks have walked over it. Alright. Oh, this is now tricky. Now, ideally, what I would like to do is walk and see where those tracks go, so that we don't miss them if they do walk off the road. But we'll see. I hope if it is a young male that's walked through here, because did we drive here this morning, Craig? I can't remember. I can't remember. We drove a lot of roads this morning, but all the way along the road here. Alright, I'm going to stick on these leopard tracks for a while. I'm going to see, hopefully I can find out where they go. Let's go back to Tara, see what she's looking for.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, fingers crossed on those leopards. The leopard tracks. That'll be awesome to try and see if the leopard is around there. So I think Byron's the good man for the job to find them. Fingers crossed. So we're still heading up towards Buffelshoek. Unfortunately, our elephant tracks did cross over into Torchwood. So unfortunately we can't get that side. So we've come back to head north to the northernmost part of our traversing area and see if maybe the buffalo has made his way over here. There should be some water here. I haven't seen it since we've been back, so I'm assuming there's still water around. So we'll see if that is the case. And then we'll probably head west and see if we can catch up with any more of the lions that we left there this morning. So I can't speak. Ah, there we go. Just wanted to show you. Although the sun's gone in now, so it's not the best view in the world. Yeah, they're not actually the best. Okay, I'll see if I can find better ones. I want to just show some of you back home who may not have seen an elephant track before, just to show you the size of it. But believe it or not, you can actually get the height, the shoulder height of the elephant by taking the circumference of the front foot 2.5 times that, and that gives you the shoulder height of the elephant. Now, I didn't believe it, but a friend of mine who actually works with elephants at an elephant orphanage down in Hazyview actually demonstrated it to us, and it is actually true. Could not believe it, but he actually did it there and then in front of us with one of the young elephants. So it does work. So I'll see if I can find you a nice elephant track. Now when you see it, you might think, how on earth can you tell the direction that the elephant's moving in? Well, if you think about how you walk, there we go, there are some more elephant tracks here. Unfortunately these are old, but you never know. I don't know, are you going to be able to see any of the elephant tracks down there? I might need to pull over a little bit more. Can you see them clearly at all? Let me jump out and have a quick look. Sun's knocked. Yeah. Unfortunately the sun has gone in, so you can't actually see it too nicely, unfortunately. So when you're tracking, you actually do need the sun just to lighten it up a little bit, and it creates the shadows in the track. So the best time for tracking is actually early morning or late afternoon. So unfortunately the cloud has just pulled over. So I could see them from where I was driving, but once you get down here, as I say, it's not really going to turn out well for you guys on camera. So I'm going to keep heading up and see if we can find some fresher ones. Maybe the sun will come out from behind the clouds, but we'll certainly try and give it a go. So you can just about work them out, but it also doesn't help that they're not fresh. So, hi Ken, welcome on board this afternoon, good to hear from you. And Ken wanting to know, if lion came across antelope dung, would they know what it is and track them? They come across it all the time and they don't really look at it. They don't really take it in. So I would say no, I've not seen them. Although I have seen them track a scent. I've seen leopards track a scent before. Now whether that was looking for a female that could possibly be more likely rather than prey. But cats, they're not thought to have a very good sense of smell. I think it's better than what we give them credit for, but it's not brilliant. They rely more heavily on their eyesight for looking for prey. and they've actually got eyesight, nocturnal eyesight, if my memory serves me correctly, about 6 times better than our own. So they have a very, very good night vision. And of course, under the cover of darkness, they can obviously sneak up a lot closer to prey than what they could during the day. But when you've got the bush like this, there's plenty of hiding places. And quite interestingly, they found that leopard needed about 20 centimeters of cover during the day to sneak up on an animal. So that's not very much at all. I mean, 20 centimeters, that's about that sort of height, something like that, of vegetation. So it's not very high. So leopard can obviously, as you say, leopard crawl along the ground. That's exactly what leopard can do. So I'm still seeing old elephant tracks along here. Hi Izzy, great to hear from you. And asking what I'm enjoying most about being back in Djuma. Oh, there's so much, Izzy. Absolutely. It is just fantastic being back in the bush. I feel I'm at home in the bush. I think it brings out the best in me. I just love it. And it's just so exciting. You just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what you're going to come across next. You don't know what you're going to see behavior-wise. And we've actually witnessed some pretty amazing behavior and sightings. And we've actually documented things that have never been seen before. Some viewers will remember Kruger and her cubs. They're about a year old, and they were interacting with their father, Yambili or Dung, and that's not supposed to happen. You know, males are supposed to come in, mate, and then leave, and the females will then give birth about 3 months later, and she will be responsible for caring for them, protecting them, rearing them, and the males don't get involved. And what we suspect might be happening here in the Sabi sands is the leopard density could be quite high. We do believe it's very high here, and it could be that there's a lot of competition for the territories. So the males might actually be starting to interact with the cubs, to be sticking around almost to make sure that other males don't come in and kill those cubs. Because what happens is if the cubs are killed, the females will often come into estrus 3 or 4 months later. Because it takes them about a year to 18 months for cubs to become independent. So in those 18 months, that female's not going to want to mate. So if they kill the cubs, they will then make the female come into estrus very quickly in terms of the length of time. So 18 months rather than, not waiting 18 months, but rather waiting 4 months to be able to mate. So it could possibly be that the males are actually protecting the cubs and just by being present. But we actually had an amazing sighting with the male, as I say, with the cubs. Kruger actually left the cubs with Yambili babysitting while she went off after a daycare. Absolutely amazing. The other amazing thing was that the 3-year-old brother in Duna from the second litter, so the cubs were from the third litter, Shavambalana and Shavinzi, and they were actually interacting with their brother. Now he, by rights, should not have been around at all. He should have moved on. But lo and behold, he was actually interacting with his brother and his sister and his father. Kruger was not there until about 40-50 meters away, where we pulled up the sighting. We saw her sitting in the top of a marula tree, just overlooking. Absolutely crazy behavior, but other guides have said they've seen males interacting across the sands. After we wrote the paper, we actually heard from people in Namibia saying they're seeing similar things. Unfortunately, I haven't heard anything else since, but it could be behavior that's starting to come through because there are areas where there's high densities of leopards. So yes. So you stick with Safari Live and you might get a chance to see some of these amazing sightings. Definitely, Ali, absolutely fascinating sightings. And that's what I love about what Safari Live does. It actually brings this behaviour to your front door, unedited. It is just absolutely magical. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying the Mizzy. Loving the stories of leopards, making her very happy. And that's the other thing I love about Safari Live. It's like a soap opera. So obviously we have our regular animals like the leopards, and as I say, we don't know what's going to happen to them from day to day. It's unwritten, but you get to see this soap opera of the bush play out with us. And that is one of the best things about being a guide, and that's something, or one of the reasons why I wanted to be a guide, was to actually see these animals and experience their lives, and you get to do it with us on a daily basis now. I just think that is brilliant. And speaking of lives, there is a little life through that tree there. I don't know if you're going to be able to... Oh, I need to go back a little bit. Oh, there we go. Okay, so if you were on drive yesterday, and heard me talking about the markings of these particular antelope, hopefully you might be able to ID it. So if you've got any idea what type of antelope this is, hello beautiful, then hashtag Safari Live, see who comes in with what antelope species this is. Okay, it sounds like the leopards have actually been found. It sounds like the guides have found Thandi and Tambo somewhere around Maine. So I think Byron's going to be hovering around, hoping to get a glimpse. Okay, head over to Byron State. See you in a bit.
They're going to come to us, and sorry, they just I was tracking that leopard. Sorry, a bug just hit my face while I was trying to talk to you there. However, it sounds like they may have found two leopards close to the Mulawati. Now I'm going to see if we can get in there. Sounds like they're moving through a very, very thick area. But the tracks of that leopard we had looked like a young male leopard, and they crossed south into Little Gowrie, just south of us. And that does look like it was sometime this afternoon. Now, I think that leopard came and drank at Treehouse Dam earlier this afternoon, and then walked back and crossed back down into Little Gowrie. I'm not sure if he has a kill there, perhaps. He knows where the water is. That would be my guess. Came, had a drink, and headed straight back down there, but I'm not sure. But those tracks are very fresh and on top of the vehicle tracks from this morning. Alright, well, it looks like Tara's got a bird soaring above her.
Well, never mind leopards flying. That was a wonderful comment this morning. Byron was saying that leopards flying on this property, and the comment that came back from Alice was no, they saw, just like this bird or Bateleur. Absolutely fantastic camera work, keeping up with that Bateleur. Absolutely stunning. Against some strange clouds. We should not be having clouds like this in winter, but making for an incredible backdrop for this wonderful aerial display. So Bateleur. I think the name, they were going to change it to a short-tailed snake eagle. I'm not sure where they are with that now. But you can see a lack of tail there. Very much Pisces, soaring using the thermals. And having that long wing really helps the bird just to soar. They don't need to do any flapping whatsoever. It's just like an aeroplane wing. So making sure that there's enough airflow. Hi Snazzy, asking if it means anything, a bird circling like this. It can do. If you get the bird circling in one place, it can mean that they've spotted something to eat. But this one is just climbing. It's getting progressively further and further away from us. Just the amazing camera work by Senzo just makes it feel like it's going in one place. But it's really doing quite an acrobatic dance in the sky there. But Bateleurs and tawny eagles, they're the two that other animals that eat carcasses will actually follow. And they'll follow the behaviour. Oh, hello! I've got a little friend to my right here, a little yellow-billed hornbill right next to me. Who's literally just down here. But yeah, so other birds like vultures will often look at the behaviour of Bateleur and tawny eagles, and if they're circling like that and then suddenly start to swoop down, they know, okay, something's there. So they can be the first ones at a carcass quite often, but sometimes they're not able to open the carcass because sometimes it might be a little bit too big and too tough for them to actually open it. So then the vultures come in to actually open the carcass. And the largest vulture, the lappet face, that's the one that can really rip into really tough skin, and they're the ones that other vultures will wait for to open the carcass up. If the other vultures are there first, quite often they'll go in through the anus, which is actually very soft tissue. So it sometimes doesn't look very nice when you see other vultures getting there before the lappet face. But once the lappet face arrives, they'll open the carcass up and the other vultures will get in. And then, say, the Bateleur and the tawny eagles can also have a feast as well. But it's headed off now. So we're at Buffles Hook Dam now, and it's actually got a lot more water in it than what I thought there was going to be. So we're going to drive along the dam wall and just see if there's anything over at the back there. This is actually very new. We weren't able to drive along here like this. So we're going to head back to Byron so we can update you a bit more on the leopards while we go and see what else we can find around the water's edge here. Oh! That was silly of you. You shouldn't...
Now, it sounds like they're trying to stick with the leopards, but they're moving through a very thick area. I'm just going to give those vehicles a chance to try and follow them. I don't want to add any more pressure by trying to get 2 or 3 vehicles through there. So we're just going to be patient. We're going to wait. I'm hoping that those leopards decide to settle down. Sometimes when leopards move around during the day, it's a nice cool afternoon. Potentially they could move around just like we saw the lions the other day, move around looking to hunt. If they don't have any luck, maybe go and settle down, rest for a while, and then get active again later. So we'll take our time, we'll be patient. I'm going to hang around this area. and just see maybe, because there are tracks all over here of a female leopard. Now I think it's 2 leopards in that area. I think it's a male, I think it's a female and a youngster, possibly Thandi and Tumba. I'm not sure. We'll have a look when we do get a chance to see them. It's a nice afternoon, nice cool afternoon. David, you asked if any of the cats... sorry. That wasn't meant to happen. I just slipped off the chair. Anyway, David, getting back to your question. No cats that I know of in this area bury their scat. No, they don't. Lion, leopard, you'll see the scat on the ground on the roads often. So I've never seen them bury or scratch sand over it. I've seen them though scratch sand over a carcass, or the intestines, anything that's left, the remains. They'll often go and scratch sand over it and try cover it up to mask the scent. I've seen them do that before many times. But I also wanted to say it's so interesting. This morning we were driving around this area. We didn't have a single track of a leopard. There were no leopards around here at all. All of a sudden we've found tracks of 3 leopards. That male that we had, and now these 2 leopards on the other side of the close to twin dams down in this area. Remember I said we were going to come and check around the dams. Potentially we may have found something going to drink. Looks like that young male possibly went and drank at the other dam. And maybe these 2 came and drank at this dam. I'm not sure, but we're definitely going to hopefully we're going to get a view of them. Now that's interesting. I know Tara was saying that the high leopard density in these areas, in the Sabi sands in particular, causes a lot more interaction that people have not heard about and not seen, and that's definitely the case. I know I've seen leopard interaction that I've never read about, purely because of the high leopard density in these areas. So males interacting with a number of females at the same time, or a number of males interacting with one female. So it is interesting to see the dynamics that unfold due to a high density of leopards, which animals that are generally solitary. I can hear that other vehicle bashing around a little bit. It is thick, it sounds like it. So I'm just going to keep listening to the radio and see if they do have luck following that leopard, if they do have. But I'm going to give them a hand and check these drainage lines. I'm not sure if they got, I think they must have them if they were driving off road there. I'm sure they've got them, but don't worry, we're just going to wait a little bit. It's too thick to get too many vehicles through there. So I'm trying to find a nice little gap, a nice little position, but you can see these drainage lines off to my right. We'll never be able to get through anything like that. It's quite steep through there, but we will have a look around, see if there's a chance to get through on the other side. Hold on, I'm just listening to the radio. This is exciting. I hope we get to see those leopards. We are due for a leopard. I've got guests, photographic guests, that come out on safari with me quite regularly, and they always say what do they say? It's an Afrikaans term. I'm just trying to think of the direct translation. What is it? I can't think of the direct translation now, but basically they say the bush owes us. So what that means is by us driving around and looking for these animals for a number of days, they'll often say the bush owes us a sighting of leopards now. So I think this is true. The bush kind of owes us a sighting, a reward almost for trying to look. But I'm going to see if we can get through here. You can see this drainage line is very, very difficult to get through. I'm going to work this out, and we'll get back to you shortly. Let's head back to Tara and see where she is and if she's doing any tracking and if she's in the open or not.
Oh, welcome back everybody, and I do have some tracks here for you, so I'm just going to jump out and show you what we're looking at. So let's have a quick look, because I love any excuse to talk about this animal as well. So hopefully you're going to be able to see, because these are actually a little bit fresher, so you can actually see the deep indentation as well. So we've got the front toe here, the side toe here, the side toe just about hopefully visible, and then we've got the big back pad here, and hopefully you can actually see the creases in the foot. Now, when I was saying about the track being fresh, that's what you look for, the creases in the foot, especially on the elephant as well. So it's the same thing. You get the creases in the foot. If it's not so fresh, you start losing this detail. So that's how we can tell how old a track actually is. So if I put my foot next to that track, hopefully, does that come up nicely? Do you see the creases in there? Hopefully you do. So there's a lot of detail. Even on this kind of substrate, there's a lot of detail there. Now, as the wind blows and as cars drive past, a lot of dust is going to get thrown about in there. The wind's going to take away the top layer as well. So that's how it actually degrades, and it gets really messy, and you just see a vague outline. And that's really what we were seeing when I tried to stop for the first time for the elephant tracks. It was that I was actually seeing, so just the outside of the track. So I could still tell it was elephant, but unfortunately it wasn't fresh enough to show the veins or the creases in the foot. So we've got hopefully some answers for the animal, but hopefully there's some people out there who might know what animal this belongs to. So #SafariLive, what animal does that track belong to? And we're going to carry on heading west now, and we're going to hopefully try and look around for some sign of those lions for you. Oh, spot on, Riser. Well done. Straight off the bat there as well. There's no flies on you today, as we would say. It is a rhino track. Rhinos, actually known as ungulates or hoofed animals, which is why we could see the toes. But they're odd hoofed animals, as opposed to the antelope, which are even hoofed. So you get the 2 or the 4 toes on the even-toed animals. So you get the rhino and the zebra are part of the odd-toed hoofed mammals, or ungulates is the technical word for it. So well done. And I wonder if there's any names that came through from what animal we saw earlier on as well. James and Emma, well done. It was Nyala, and it was a female Nyala. Nyala have the stripes on the body and maybe a few spots as well, and that beautiful chestnut brown colour. So well done at home if you got that as well. You guys are doing well. Some Impala rams on the left there. Alright boys. So we're heading along Buffels Hook Cut Line. Now I must admit I like to have an excuse to talk about rhino, because unfortunately a lot of people think, you know, there's not much going on there, but they are highly intelligent creatures, and they love tactile communication. They love rubbing against each other. When I was working with them, I used to work with young males of about 5 and 6 years old, and wherever they were in the field, these young boys would stay together. And quite often you'd see them actually walking side by side and occasionally just rubbing against each other. And I thought, that's odd, but you know what, maybe it's because they're in captivity. But once I got out to Africa, I actually found rhinos and watched them. You could see they actually do that in the wild. And it is that tactile communication, and believe it or not, the skin, it looks very thick, and it is thick compared to ours, but it's not as thick as what you think, so it's actually quite sensitive. So they are absolutely fantastic creatures, and also they're not as solitary as what we think as well. So quite often you can come across a crash of rhino and you'll have the territorial bull, but then there may be some other males who are actually not territorial, but they're just there for a visit, and as long as they don't show any sign that they want to take over the territory, he'll actually allow them to hang out with them. And again, if they're feeding, they'll actually rub against each other sometimes, and when they're sitting down, they'll actually sit next to each other, touching each other. And that can also help when detecting predators, because one can look one way, one can look the other, and they have their satellite dishes, their ears moving constantly to pick up any predators. And I'll tell you something, they're one of the most humblest of creatures as well. You thought the lioness jumped out of her skin with the mouse. Rhinos, I've seen them jump out the skin for the wind. It's so funny watching such a large animal be so humble, but they really... They can have their fierce side, but they also have a very humble side. So absolutely beautiful creatures. And I think there might be a little surprise for you, so I think we need to go back to Byron now.
We do indeed. Have a look at this, everyone. Bit of a dense, thick area, but we've got a leopard. Oh, this is wonderful. Another great spot by Craig. He managed to spot this leopard just through we came down into the Mulwati, so we're down in the riverbed, and you can actually see there's a bit of movement through the bushes behind that leopard. I think this is the female lying down, and I think that is the youngster behind her. You can just see some movement through there. But for now, this is a great view, and we're just going to sit tight and see if they do start moving again, just as I thought that they're probably lying down and resting after moving around a little bit, which is great, but they may get up and move again. But again, just look at the camouflage of leopards this time of year. This dry grass, dry condition is perfect for them to disappear in the long grass. This golden coloration, the golden color of grass, their coat, the spots, or the rosettes rather, perfect camouflage in the dappled light. Sammy Jane, you say we needed one of these, and I must admit, I wonder if he's watching. I hope he is. James Richard, it's your birthday today, I know, and you asked this morning for a leopard, so there we go, James, a leopard for you on your birthday, and anyone else's birthday if you're watching. Anyone else around, always nice to have a leopard on the birthday. There we go, let's see. Now, wouldn't it be wonderful? Oh, look at that beautiful view. I was going to say, wouldn't it be wonderful if she decided to come down into the riverbed and lay down in front of us? Let's see where she goes. I'm just going to wait a little bit before I move. Okay, give me a second. Hold on, everybody. It might get bumpy, but stay with us, because I think if these leopards carry on, we might miss them. But there's a fire break here. Oh, this could be tricky. I don't know if we're going to get up here. Let me try. Hold on, Craig. There we go. Why did I doubt myself? Or rather the vehicle. There we go. There's a nice view of her. There she is through there. Just hold on, Craig. I think she's going to move soon. Yeah. Can you see? It's a bit thick, everybody. Just give us a second. Let me go back a little bit. Through there, or I think I had a little view through here, maybe. Is that okay? Let's try that. Bit of an angle, not a great angle. Wonderful. As leopards do, they change their minds, they change direction. But don't worry, at least we're on this side. We might get a better view of them again. Let's see where she goes. Let's see. Just give me a second. I just want to make sure. I don't want to move again. If she goes back down to the drainage line, I might be a little upset. Now, I do apologize, everyone. I can have a clear look now. That is a young male. There's a young male that was moving there. And he appears to be stalking, I think, the female. Or now, apparently some of you are saying Hosana. That's interesting. I don't know. We need to get a better look. I'm not going to say anything just yet. I've drove through here a few days ago. There is a little gap somewhere. I just need to find it. And I might be able to get in there. It is very thick here, so I wonder where about Tara is. So sometimes getting these vehicles in and out of low range can be a bit tricky. Craig, please watch out for some of these branches. There are thorns on them. Alright, now, it sounds like, I don't know how, but Tara says she's in some sunlight. Now there's no sunlight where we are. Let's head across to her. Let me see if I can get a position and you can come back to us.
Yes, we are basking in the golden glow, going into the golden hour of that beautiful photographer's dream light. It is starting to be a little bit warmer now, so hopefully we're going to be able to get a really nice view of the leopards for you. I'm sure Byron's going to do his utmost best to try and get that for you. So really exciting to hear it's Thandi and Tambo. I hope you guys managed to get a nice visual. Oh, I can see an elephant through the bush right over there. How's that for a spot? Oh, lovely. Unfortunately, quite far away. I'm not going to be able to get much closer, but so we're actually heading down to where we left the lions this morning. I'm not convinced they're going to pop back out onto the road they were. But just in case, I thought I would come down and check. And obviously, it's a good job that we did. So what we're going to do, I just kind of went through in my mind where the lions might be heading. So from where we are, the nearest dam I think is probably Gowrie, but that's back the way they came, because they came from Buffalo's Hook Dam last night. It seems to be that they're on a westerly direction Well, they were moving westerly, so I'm kind of thinking maybe Sydney's Dam if they're going to go and drink. There might be animals around there as well. So animals tend to drink first thing in the morning or towards late afternoon. But that tends to happen more at those times in summer, but it still can happen during the winter. So I think we're going to go along Buffalo's Hook Cut Line, see if we can find any tracks and do a loop coming back onto Vutlure access just to see. But there you go, yeah, it gives you an idea of how far away. Come on, you've got to be proud of that, folks. I've been surrounded by city for so long. Well, I'm impressing myself. Absolutely lovely. Oh, there's a youngster there with her as well. And you can see how dexterous that trunk is. It really is amazing. They can lift quite a hefty weight. I'm struggling to remember exactly how many kilos, but it's something like 100 kilos or something, so maybe someone can check it out for me. But they can lift something so heavy and yet pick a single blade of grass. I often wonder what it would be like to have a trunk. And you know, it takes the youngsters quite a long time to actually manage to use their trunk. It kind of flops around on the face to begin with. It takes probably a month or so for them to really get used to actually having that long nose. So why did the elephant grow such a long nose? What's the reason for it? Actually, I was going to answer it, but yes, let's put that out to you guys, see what you come up with. This is going to be interesting. I'm hoping you'd have been listening well to the guys, so maybe you know the answer. Hashtag Safari Live. Why did the elephant grow such a long nose? But we're going to carry on down, it seems as the elephant is walking away. And just see if lightning strikes twice. Oh, brilliant. It sounds like Byron might have been able to get a slightly better view for you, so we're going to head over to Byron and we'll let you know if we find any lions.
Well, look at the rosettes of that leopard through the bush now. It is very thick here at the moment. But what's actually happened now, I'm not sure exactly which leopard this is. And I must be honest, we'll just have a look and see. But it's a male and female. However, the female is acting quite aggressively towards this young male. There we go. Oh, look at that. Now, I wonder if there's a kill or anything around here. I'm not sure. There we go, you can see the face. Maybe some of you can tell us, is that leopard going to jump up into the tree? Let's see, the way it was looking up, it almost looked like it was. See, this leopard is very nervous of the other one. So that would... Oh dear, look at that. Directly behind that branch now. Let's just wait and be patient. I'm trying to see if you can see a female anywhere. Can you see anything? Yeah. I'm just having a good look with my binoculars quickly. Just to see. Wow, they really are almost invisible through this thick. It's so thick here at the moment. Oh, is that a moving through there? Oh dear. Oh, Beard, you say the leopards aren't being very cooperative today? No, not at all. But that's why they're elusive. There's no vehicle behind me, Craig. Copy that. I'm going to try drop back down into the drainage then. Sorry, see the multitasking again. I'm going to try and get out of here. See if we can drop down into that drainage line again. They're moving around a bit, so it is always difficult. Don't worry, we're almost out of here. We'll go around back the way we came into that drainage line and see. But it's interesting, the female was definitely growling at that young male, so I don't think they are related. So, anyway, we'll see when we get a better view of them. Maybe we can tell who they are, and then I can explain a little bit more what's going on. Alright, let's head back to Tara quickly while I get out of here, and then hopefully we'll have a better view of these leopards shortly.
Here's hoping, Byron. I really hope so. I'm so jealous. It sounds like it's quite a difficult area to get a nice visual, some nice thick bush there. So maybe they're wanting some privacy, but hopefully we'll get a good sighting. So we've just come down from where we left the lions, and literally as we were driving down, we saw another guide, Elvis. So he's actually going to drive along Buffelshoek cut line to that dam in the back. But as we were talking, we heard some barking from an antelope, which tends to mean there's an alarm call, and it's a real deep. It comes from the stomach, so it's like a bruh! And that tends to mean that they've seen a predator. Unfortunately, I couldn't quite get up here in time to actually try and get an idea of where the antelope, where the sound came from. I was hoping we might be able to see the antelope, because at least if we see them, then I know the direction to go in, because unfortunately we can't just go bunder bashing and hope that we come across something, because then obviously we just destroy the bush. But if we've got an actual visual of a predator, or at least of the antelope giving us a sign that the predator's there, then we can go in. But it is possible that the lions have moved and started heading that way, and that's possibly why this antelope might have barked. But it's only 2 or 3 times. It sounded like a bushbuck bark, and they're usually pretty good. They're usually trustworthy. But it's... I hear somebody. Who's this? Nope. Okay. Oh, brilliant. I think Byron's got the leopard again. So we're going to carry on looking, and hopefully you get to see the leopards really nicely. Well done, Byron.
Alright, look at this now. Here we've got a lovely view of these leopards. Both of them. That's the young male. Let's see. Now he's contact calling. I'm not sure who this is. I don't know. This looks like... Is this not Tumba? Oh, beautiful. Look at that. What a wonderful view. Good afternoon. What a nice surprise. And there's some growling going on by that, by the female. So maybe some of you can give us an idea. Who do you think this is? This looks like it's possibly Thandi lying down here. Older female leopard. And is this not... Shay, you think it's possibly Thandi, that female? There we go, that's a nice view of her, and she's growling at this young male leopard. I think it might be Hosana and Thandi. Debbie, you seem to think it is definitely Thandi, but watch this. Let's see what happens here. This is going to be interesting. Wow, look at that. Very aggressive towards him. Wow, what a wonderful sighting. Isn't this amazing? Now, I'm assuming that this young male, because he's nomadic, he's moving around a lot, he's very curious, inquisitive, and it's funny. Tara was chatting about this earlier. The leopard density causes a lot more interaction than we know of, and this is exactly what's happened here. I think this young male, moving around a lot, he's found a female leopard, and he's curious. He's inquisitive, he wants to know who is this female. He's definitely interacted with her a few times, and once or twice we think that she even had a kill, and he came in and tried to take the kill away from her. But you see, he's lying down, he's trying not to notice her, she's growling at him, she's hissing at him. See that? It's an incredible sound, that growl of a leopard. But she's not happy with him being too close, trying to warn him off. Typical young male. He's inquisitive, and I think that's why he's trying to get closer to this female, but she's not having any of it. But he is a large leopard, though. Even though he's inexperienced and very young, he's still bigger than this female. So she will be careful, but her experience will be able to chase him off, definitely. Isn't this amazing? What a wonderful sighting. Donna, I think one of the main reasons, or a few of the reasons why there are so many leopard in this area, the habitat suits them very well. Thick areas, drainage lines, wonderful areas for these leopards to hide in, perfect habitat. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful view? So perfect habitat for these leopards. There's water and there's an abundance of food. So it is well suited for these big cats. And I think that is why there are so many leopards in the area. Now, we were lucky. These leopards came out exactly where we thought they would. John, you said these look so awesome. It is wonderful to see these leopards, and the light now is beautiful. I'm just trying to think. I just want to perhaps try and maneuver the vehicle again, just to allow space for the other two vehicles. Obviously other people that are around that want to see these leopards. I don't know where Tara is. Perhaps we can link to Tara quickly, just while I try to work out exactly and give space for the other vehicles so everybody can have a good view. Let me just hear if Alice will be able to link across to Tara, and then we'll spend some more time with these leopards. Alice? Where's Alice? Alright, so we just Alright, let me just try reposition quickly, and let's go across to Tara, see where she's going, and then you can come back to us once we've done that.
Hi everybody, so we've checked out the area where the lions were, no sign of them as I suspected, so we're heading down towards Vutlure access, and literally as we started heading down, someone's called in that there's a leopard at the end of this junction. So I'm hoping, if we're lucky, we might actually get a glimpse. Really would love to. That is the one animal that obviously for me I've really missed seeing. So hold on everybody. It may feel like we're actually going quite fast, we're actually not, but I know it looks like that on camera. But we're certainly trying to get there before the leopard disappears. Now, leopards will often use roads just like game trails. Why use energy bashing your way through the bush when someone has produced a very nice walkway for you that gets you from A to B, can quite easily between water holes and areas that you need to be to go looking for food. So that's why you do tend to find the cats and other animals utilising the roads just like game trails. Hi Riti, and welcome on board this afternoon. And Riti wanting to know what animal I also enjoy watching apart from leopards. Definitely the rhinos. As I say, that for me is one of the most magical creatures to watch. And like I say, people underestimate them. And I think had I have not worked with them so closely, I probably would have also underestimated them. Okay, so we have a vehicle coming towards us. Does that mean they've got a leopard up ahead? Let's see. Station, do you have visual on the Ingwe? Is that Elvis again? Ah. So that might be a no then, so possibly carrying on down. I think it was a member of staff that actually called it in. Yeah, you don't know either. So leopard's giving us the slip at the moment. So it doesn't sound like Elvis has had any luck with leopard lion tracks coming out either, so I think the lions are still in that block. So the update that we had was that a leopard was walking just behind us towards this junction that we've just come out of. Just switch off and just see if we can hear anything. Hearing anything, unfortunately. I'm just going to back up so we can get this vehicle past us. Oops. Rusty doesn't like going backwards, I've decided. Struggles to get into reverse. Sorry, Rusty. So as Byron was saying, leopards do fly on this property. Which way? Oh, you want to go in there again? Where did you last see the unconsols? Just here? No. Okay. If it was walking down in an easterly direction, going through here, maybe we should try. There's that little road, isn't there? Just before camp. So while yeah, definitely, Izzy. Leopards are like buses. You wait around for a while and there's none, and then all of a sudden they just pop out everywhere, and it is so true. So maybe while we're searching, if there was any answers to why the elephant grew its nose, maybe we could get to the answer. And then, if the animal sticks to the script, the leopard will pop out just as we finish with the answer. John! Half the answer, well done. Because they're so tall, they need to reach, the Nyala's looking, they need to reach the water. Izzy's saying that they can reach the higher food in the winter time. Yes, that can help. I'm just trying to see if this Nyala is going to give us any indication of the cat being in there. She's certainly looking, oh, not quite positioned brilliant, but the ears are forward. Let me just see if I can just move forward slightly. That's going to be worse, is it? Oh, she's gone back to chewing the cud. Okay. So she's not too phased. And where are you going to pop out from? So almost right with that, but why? So yes, they've got it so they can actually reach the water, but why do they need to be able to reach the water? What is it that stops them doing something? Just a thought that I'm going to throw out there. Okay, well, let's just try down this little road. I'm not convinced the leopard's got this far because that Nyala hasn't said anything. Although it could be that the leopard's been very well hidden. The wind is going that way, so if the leopard's coming up this way, there's no scent to give it away. So if the leopard is wanting to hunt these Nyala, it will stay that side. Because coming around the back, the scent's going to go straight into the Nyala. Oh, crested barbet, just in the sunlight. How beautiful. Being attacked by the paintbrush. Crested barbet. And I think we're going to cross over to Byron again. So hopefully he has better luck with the spots.
Yeah, we've repositioned slightly. Luckily, everyone can see now, and the leopards are lying down. You can see the female. Her belly looks quite full. Do you see that?